Broadcasting live from Adventurers Guildhouse on the plain of Dominaria. Probably. This is Tap Tap Concede. Welcome, everybody, to Tap Tap Concede. My name is Graham. Joining me today, we have Nelson.
Banding with other legends.
And Wheeler.
Legends with other banding.
And we are talking about part 4 of ranking all the mechanics. We're very pleased to have you with us. Before we start, I want to remind you, of course, that this show is brought to you by Card Kingdom. Please check out cardkingdom.com/LRR. The LRR is critical because that tells them that we sent you to them, and then they know that we're great.
What?
I think. Okay. I think that's how it works, right?
Yeah.
And then they pay us. That's how it works.
Oh,
okay. Right.
yeah.
It helps us out, so please do that. And we work with Card Kingdom and have done for over a decade now because we think that they're a great place to buy your cards and sell your cards. I do it too.
And because we're over a decade old.
Also that. Also, if you want to buy the best shields in the business, Dragon Shield on the Dragon Shield store, go to their store and use the code LRRMTG5 to get yourself a 5% discount off anything on their store. And finally, and most importantly, everything we do here at Loading Ready Run is brought to you by you and your kind support of our Patreon or by becoming a member on this very YouTube channel. Member shoutouts at the end of episodes of Tap Tap Concede. So look for that end card at the end of the show. Episode 4, part 4 of Mechanics Ranked. How's it going so far? I'm enjoying this.
We're crushing this.
Yeah, we're doing good.
We
haven't got a single one wrong.
We're Sarah's little soldiers here.
I agree. Yep. Everything has been factually correct.
Yep.
So we're going to start today with, again, this is another 20 randomized selection of the top number of mechanics. And we're starting with one that they don't use anymore, a now depreciated keyword. It is intimidate.
Oh. So intimidate used to be fear, right?
Yeah.
And then it got changed to be more inclusive of other colors.
Yep.
But ended up just playing exactly the same.
And
yes.
Then they realized that menace was what they wanted to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
So fear, from Alpha Beta, this creature can't be blocked except by black creatures and artifact creatures.
Yeah.
And, there were other evasion abilities that came out at the beginning of the game, and this is one of them. And unfortunately, fear/intimidate just suffers from either being too good or not doing anything. Right? It's a binary.
It just kind of stinks.
Yeah,
If they can block your creature, you've overpaid for a boring creature. And if they can't block your creature, it's too powerful.
A Blade Tusk board.
Yeah, Blade Tusk Boar is the one we're looking at. It's 3 and a red for a 3/2 with Intimidate, so it can't be blocked except by artifact creatures and or creatures that share a color with it, in this case, red.
Yeah. So 4 mana for a 3/2 unblockable is pretty good, especially for draft. And then 4 mana for a 3/2 that they can block is pretty bad.
Yep.
So it turns out to be a bad mechanic. It's neat that they brought it back because they just hadn't printed very many creatures with fear. I don't know, ever before. This is around M10, M11.
They
were like, we're going to bring it back.
They liked it in Urza's block.
Right.
And a bit in Invasion and masks here and there on some mercenaries and whatnot.
So that's really early. That's not those sets aren't that far removed from the set that gave us Shadow.
Yeah, and then they gave Fear the name in Onslaught. I imagine we're going to have Fear actually show up at some point in time, but that they realized at that point, still pretty early on in the game, hey, this kind of stinks. Right? But they still kept using it because they're we're not printing Swamp Walk.
Right. We need to have some abilities on these other cards that don't get flying or trample.
Right.
We need to give them something. And they hadn't found a menace yet, basically. The first menace creature was, I think, in Onslaught, actually, but it didn't have menace. It, they didn't solidify the wording for another decade or whatever.
It wasn't until, for me anyway, it wasn't until it was a aura in Return to Ravnica block.
Madcap Skills.
Damn,
he's good.
It wasn't until Mad Skills that I was like, oh, that's an interesting thing. And then I think that also was the clue to them of oh, this is what we should just do.
Yeah.
Can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures.
Yeah. We're probably going to put Menace at A or S tier.
Yeah.
But Intimidate,
I'd put this
do you want it at C? I think it's actually pretty important that we talk about where flying is going to go. I know it's not up yet, and I don't want to spoil the surprise, but in my head, I'm thinking of flying as A or S. And I think flying is perhaps the most core mechanic of Magic. Like it's like you need to understand how this works so that you can like keep going with the game.
Yeah, that's S tier, baby.
I like it a lot. I like flying for several reasons. So let's just keeping in mind that flying is S tier. Maybe Intimidate is fine at C.
Yeah, I don't mind it at C.
Like it doesn't necessarily need to be D.
Everything is going to be compared to flying when it comes to evasive abilities. Right?
Comparing every ability to either flying or kicker in Magic is probably sort of fair. Like their most abilities are one or the other. It's like how every video game is either parkour or menus. Every mechanic in Magic is either flying or it's kicker.
Every video game is either parkour or menus. Is an amazing shout, Nelson.
Thank you. I didn't think of that.
That's great, though. I like that a
just
lot.
heard it. Yeah.
Which one's Street Fighter?
That's
Menus,
a good
I
question.
suppose.
It's probably menus, actually.
Okay.
So what I do like about Intimidate is it now joins because they don't use it anymore. Really, it joins the annals of basically flavorful mechanics that they can pull out when they need to. So it was most recently printed on the Nuka-Cola, the Nuka Nuke launcher in the Fallout set because it grants the creature Intimidate. Not, I don't think because they really needed the evasion, just because it's scary to hold a bazooka.
They wanted to put the words intimidate on a Magic card.
Yeah.
That's not nothing.
And they'll probably do that one more time or two more times or whatever in the history of Magic with fear too. You know, like maybe they can bring it up. They'd be like,
yeah.
"I'll just give it fear
Yep.
because we want the card to say fear on it."
Yeah.
Sure.
So
That's cool.
All right.
Not D.
Not D. Next up, it's a big one. Cascade.
People have feelings.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're looking at Bloodbraid Elf here. It's 2 red green for a 3/2 with haste and Cascade. Cascade is a reminder when you cast the spell, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card that costs less. You may cast it without paying its mana cost, and you put the exiled cards on the bottom of your library in a random order. So that all happens before the Bloodbraid Elf resolves. Or enters, at least, rather. Actually, yeah, before it even necessarily resolves, because the Cascade is a cast trigger. So
Yes.
your opponent can wait to see what happens with the Cascade, potentially counter that spell, let that happen or not, and then decide if they're going to counter the Bloodbraid Elf.
They can also counter the trigger
That's true.
if they want. If they have a spell that does that.
It's the last episode, consigned in memory.
I think there's two main things going on with Cascade. There's people having fun, and there's crimes.
Yeah.
And so we need to consider both these things when we rank it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that the crimes are heavier
pretty bad.
than the fun, but the fun is not zero. It's like there's a concrete amount of fun.
It's
or whatever
easier to
people have had.
ban crimes and then encourage more fun. And they know, ideally, not to continue to print crimes, but they know they can print more fun.
Yeah.
Like, for people that don't know what crimes are in this case, Nelson's referring to cascading into 0 mana cards that were designed in a way in which they didn't intend for you to cast this card outside of suspend.
Like Crashing Footfalls? for
Crashing
example?
Footfalls, Living End, Ancestral Vision, the
Restore
that kinda
Balance
Restore
even.
Balance.
Yeah.
That whole suite of cards.
Mostly it's Crashing Footfalls lately, but for a while there it was Living End, and both are relevant.
Well, Crashing Footfalls, they've made some bans in Modern, and Footfalls is still technically legal, not really played. Living End sees a reasonable amount of play, although I think has also started to fall off, but it's like a reasonable.
Because the
kind of
weird
deck
thing
that you
about
could-
Crashing Footfalls from Modern Horizons 1, our preview card for the set, is that they designed this to do that on purpose.
Yep.
Right,
They
they knew.
never expected you to be suspending this. This was always
Yeah.
going to be like, oh, haha, someone's going to cascade into 2 rhinos.
Almost as if that's a mindset that
idea.
they've applied to the Horizon sets that has backfired for the very format they're designing towards.
More like Modern Sunset, am I right?
Huh? I am a Cascade enjoyer.
Yeah.
I wish they've changed the rules on Cascade.
Yeah.
a
Have
couple
they?
of times.
Yeah.
I wish they just flat out made it so that it could not cast the Living Ends. They're not going to do it because there's too many competitive repercussions associated with that now. right?
Just like it has to have some mana cost.
Like it has to have a mana value of 1 or
It's
more.
you
or
have to
something.
cast something with like a cost
Sure.
associated to it,
Right.
and there are some other repercussions in the rules for that, but like that's the big issue.
I want to say, as someone who's read the rules a fair bit, if you told me that they were going to change, now I don't know what all the ramifications would be. I'm not like the person who has like the comp rules inside and out in their brain, but I'm somewhat familiar. And it's just like learning that Bloodbraid Elf can cast a spell that doesn't have a mana cost. I think from like, say the change was made and then new players are learning the rules, it would be just as complicated to find out that it can't. Does that
Right,
make sense?
it's
You know what I'm
just
saying?
as
Like,
complicated, but you don't have the.
it's a lot
changes.
it's a lot of like work to like figure out the first time that Bloodbraid Elf could cast Living End. I just want to say that.
Spoiler: I'm going to give Discover a D when we get to it, but like also like because the randomness of Cascade is its fun, right? Like getting the value is good, obviously, but like Cascade's just fun. You spin the wheel, you see what you get. Sometimes that backfires, and it's so funny when it happens. Right? Like that is, I think that's a part of it. And like if you're not casting it, then you're not casting it. But like don't be like, okay, you didn't get to cast it, well you get to put it in your hand.
Yeah.
Like, don't do that. Don't. I signed up to gamble. And like there is a little bit of a, an emotional response to losing on your gamble.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's a part of the game here.
One of the things I love about Cascade is not actually related to the mechanic itself, but the things that they've done to cards that have Cascade. Two that pop into my head, especially Apex Devastator, that just says Cascade, 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 Cascade.
Yeah.
Right.
That's it. It's a 10/10 for 10. And then Throes of Chaos, a card that technically does nothing. It has Cascade. Like it costs 4, has Cascade, and has Retrace, but it doesn't actually do anything.
It
itself.
dominated a whole meta for a couple weeks.
Yeah, I just think that's very funny.
Yeah.
These are not meant to weigh in on the quality of the Cascade mechanic of itself. I just think it has allowed for some very amusing cards.
Yeah. No, this card is funny. You're right. I want to say my head is in the like B or C space. I mentioned earlier that like there's only crimes and having fun, and weirdly, the most time I've put into the Cascade mechanic is just playing standard Jund, which actually does neither. It's neither fun nor crimes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
It's just so weird.
It actually is lawful suck.
Yeah.
yeah, that Jund environment was not great, but also like
But it wasn't unfair.
I don't even know if that's Cascade's fault as much as they're like people lost a fairy, so we have to make blue terrible.
Yeah.
It's like, no, don't. You're going to learn down the line not to do that. Not to just banish colors.
They had to experiment. They also
Yeah.
made a set that was almost entirely black. Like they had to
Torment?
Yeah, they had to like
Yeah.
make these big mistakes. Sort
Yeah.
of.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot. Well, the Cascade mechanic was introduced in the set that was all gold. I don't think they're ever going to do that again.
Take some wild swings,
Yeah. I don't know. That could be B.
I like it at B. It is funny that Cascade is the cooler Cascade cards are more expensive, but also the volatility goes up because you just have a wider range of what you can hit.
Yeah, that's right.
Or the deck building restrictions change because there are you can try to commit crimes, right? But also there's a Cascade deck in Canadian Highlander that like says like, well, I got to play some cards.
Yeah.
And so they're just like, yeah, I'm playing the 5-mana Cascade cards, but sometimes I just cascade into Minsk and Boo or Comet
and
Stellar Pup or
hopefully
whatever.
that's good
yeah,
enough.
hopefully that's good enough.
It's not a combo. It's
Yep.
just Minsk and Boo.
yeah.
I won't regale you with it again because by this point you've all heard it a bajillion times. But I mean, one of our earliest, when a bunch of us here, not Nelson and Wheeler, but when a bunch of us here started playing the game, coming into YJ while someone was having a real big bad beat freak out about Cascade was very funny.
Oh,
Maybe you were there.
so this
Maybe
is
you were in the room.
Finally, I get to clear the room on this. I've
Oh.
been waiting forever because this is
Oh my gosh.
this has been something that Lure fans quote constantly.
Oh, shall I-
without
shall I-
understanding the origin?
Shall
Maybe I
I
was there, too.
Shall I retell the story as I'm aware
I
of
would
it?
like to hear this in case it is the same story.
Okay,
yes.
so my awareness is I think it was Cameron comes into YJ, while someone is in the middle of a bad beat story, and they comes in. Like he enters the conversation or is aware of the conversation at the point where the person's going bit blast, and then he cascades into another effing Bloodbraid elf.
Every time it's a Bloodblade elf into a Blightning like that.
I didn't know.
So
I've never heard the accent.
So this is a meme. This didn't actually happen. I mean, it probably happened.
Okay.
But this was a meme that was started with Chris I, Alec Woodson, Stefan Bard, myself, about the idea of somebody going on a date and the red flag was that they play Jund. And then it like cascaded into this other bit of like somebody screaming in Scottish of like
never heard
every
the Scottish
time.
variant.
It's just, he's explaining this like story of like, I'm on this date and they play Savage Lands. And I'm like, okay, that's a little...
It's a little unsure.
I don't know how this is going to go.
Yeah, my
and they
hackles are
play
up.
another Savage Lands, and you're like, uh-oh.
Well, they didn't leech
Okay.
him too.
Yeah, no leech. But then they Blightning you, and you're like, oh, haha, the date's not going so well. Then they they Bloodbraid into Blightning, and then they Bit Blast into Bloodbraid into Blightning, and it's like, every time it's Bloodbraid Elf into Blightning, into Bit Blast into Blood. Yeah, that's just a meme. Never, I mean, again, probably happened, but the story at YJ it's just a joke.
That's hilarious.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can walk into an LGS and someone's giving like a passionate oration and you assume that they're genuinely recounting a bad beat story, but actually they're just kind of
It's just Alec
chatting.
Woodson
Yeah.
doing his best Scottish impression.
they're mid crap shot when you walk in.
Yes, yeah. Why Yellow Jacket especially is like
Yeah.
I mean, I've tried to every time a card comes up and I go like, oh, the Oogly Boogly, and Angel's like, no, it's not called the Oogly Boogly. Not every card needs to have a name. Oogly Boogly's longer than the name of the card. I'm like, I'm sorry, but YJ culture.
Yeah.
Like,
I come from a specific place and time.
Yeah,
Which
exactly.
card is the Oogly Boog?
Oh, there's not a card called the
Oh,
Oogly
okay.
Boogly.
But you know,
Until
card.
now.
You may be familiar
Yeah.
with some of our previous work around here where there's a nickname for everything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that
yeah.
show certainly shares some DNA with just actually drafting at YJ.
Yeah, casting Bosleys and
Yeah. You know.
All right.
yeah.
Well, today I have learned.
We put it at B, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Cascade is a B
Cascade's
mechanic,
B.
it turns out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, but what about Exploit? This was Dragons of Tarkir, the Silumgar brood, or clan, or whatever they were called. It is when the creature with Exploit enters, you can sacrifice a creature, and then if you exploit, it does a thing. You can sacrifice itself, but you typically want to find something smaller and worse to sacrifice. What's up?
I was going to speak my piece on Exploit.
Yeah.
All right,
Go ahead.
I'll just read Sidisi here.
Yeah.
Sidisi Undead Vizier, 3 black for a 4/6 zombie Naga with Death Touch with Exploit that just says you can sack something. It's sort of like a bonus free sack outlet, I guess. Also, when Sidisi exploits a creature, you may search your library for a card, put it into your hand, and then shuffle your library. Obviously, this is a tutor, so it's a pretty big one. But there was ones that gave like -3/-3 to a creature, or bounced a creature, or did various. It's centered in blue-black, so it's basically there were creatures that could exploit to do all the things you typically do in a blue-black deck.
Yeah. I love Exploit. I think it's really cool. It's a mechanic that has a couple of different modes as well, because it lets you just play these cards as the card if you have no other creatures.
Yep.
So, for instance, this Sidisi, you're not excited to pay 5 mana for a tutor that just tutors, but like if you have to do it, you have to do it, and you get to do it while including a creature in your deck, which has other ramifications, right? Like you can just decks care about putting cards in the yard, sacrificing creatures, putting creatures in the yard. This meaning that like you get to play a tutor in your deck, but your tutor also attacks is very exciting. And that's just like when you play this in like the worst possible setup, right? So these creatures actually act as spells, but allow you to play a lot of creatures. And because they use the graveyard, and graveyard decks typically care about having a bunch of creatures as well, that lets you, say, build a deck where you're going to play cards that are like, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck, put all the creatures into your hand, the rest in the graveyard. Lets you get a density of creatures that would act as though they're spells, so that you can get away with playing a number of that type of like mulch or gather the pack or malevolent rumble style card without diluting your deck too much. Then playing with this card is great, right? Like it helps you play around people like putting pacifisms or stun locking creatures, or like your creature is being completely outscaled and you want to convert it into something else. Obviously synergizes with death triggers, puts cards in your graveyard for delve. Like I don't want to put this as S, but I feel a pretty firm A for exploit.
Okay.
I like exploit a lot.
I like all the things you said about exploit. You didn't even mention like having the effect on a creature so that you can blink it, or so it's part of some loop or whatever, the like top tier value exploit plan. My main issue with exploit is that you cast a spell, the trigger goes in the stack, and then this part's kind of complicated. If the opponent removes it, you can still sacrifice a creature and when your exploit trigger resolves, but then nothing will happen.
Yeah.
Because they all say like when this exploits something. And sort of paradoxically, if you let it resolve and then sacrifice the creature that has exploit, you do get the trigger. So it's like if the trigger resolves while the creature's on the battlefield, then exploit works.
Yeah.
Even if the creature's not on the battlefield when the trigger is finished resolving. And I just think that difference, the fact that like your creature doesn't necessarily have to be in play for you to get to tutor, because you're going to tutor after you sacrificed it to its own thing. If you're like 5 mana, then tutor. That mode of this card works, but if you pay 5 mana, trigger on the stack, I swords it, and then you're like sacrifice another thing. It's like, okay, well you don't get to tutor, and so that's just kind of that's my like judge new player mind being like, it's not S tier for this reason.
It is a May, so you at least
it's
get to
also
go
a May.
like,
That's
I don't
right.
have my thing, I can say no. But yeah, you don't. I think
it's not a power level thing. It's just a like explaining, understanding the mechanic level.
It's an execution.
Slight. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I want to chop it down a little bit, but it's extremely flavorful. And all those other things you said. Like I also love exploit cards.
It's also something that can basically be in every color except green. I mean, you could probably do green X, but like I could see a mono white card with exploit, like a tax collector,
right?
That kind of thing. I could see red cards with exploit, like a taskmaster, or like a
Modern Horizons 3 Infernal Captor is a 3/3 for 3 and a red with exploit.
Yeah, great. Go. Exactly. Yeah. I like exploit a lot. Yeah, I wouldn't S tier it, but certainly A tier. It is. Yeah. It's like Casualty if it was cool.
Yeah. No, exploit was a lot of fun too.
Nice. All right. Next up, another E ability. It's Entwine. So starting from Mirrodin, but most recently seen, as many of these mechanics are, most recently seen in Modern Horizons 3. It is a modal. It shows up on instants and sorceries that are modal, and you have to pick one. But if you pay the additional Entwine cost, you can do both of them. So the one that we're looking at, I've never seen this card before in my life.
Oh, yeah. James is biased or something. Like you can't put Solar Tide on the
Solar
screen.
Tide, 4 white. Choose one. Destroy all creatures with power 2 or less, or destroy all creatures with power 3 or greater. But the Entwine cost is sacrifice 2 lands. So if you pay 4 white and sack 2 lands, then you get to just destroy everything.
Just put on Tooth and Nail. Or Blinding Beam's great.
Blinding Beam. Okay, so 2 and a white.
Or Stir the Pride.
Tap 2 tap 2 target creatures, or creatures don't untap during the next player's during target player's next untap step, Entwine for 1. So for 4 mana, you tap 2 creatures and they don't untap.
This card is so funny because like this would have been the kids don't know back in its original printing, and then they put it in a modern master set, and it's like, oh no, now the kids know. Like this card's really good. Yeah, like at its time, it looks kind of goofy.
Honestly,
but no,
I think you put this in any modern limited set too, it would still be a high pick.
Because that Leonid's
shows up.
holding a giant metal croissant.
I think it's supposed to be a plate or a shield.
I think you'll find that it's actually a panel that the Leonins use to harness the power of the white sun.
Okay.
That just looks like a croissant.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Or something. I don't know. I don't. Yep.
Look, Entwine is kicker, but instead of there being a card and then kicker, it's just there's 2 kickers.
Yeah,
It's really simple.
it is kind of cool that you get 3 options.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
People like options.
You could do one thing, the other thing, or for a little extra, both things.
The problem is that most Entwine cards, it's just actually there's one option.
You
And it's-
almost
it's-
always
you
want to
always
pay
just
the Entwine. Yeah, most of them. Like, no, you know what? You know what the best one I can think of is? I've forgotten the name of it, even though I've played it 100 times. It's the green land destruction one.
Oh, Reap and Sow.
So Reap and Sow,
That's
you do
the-
sometimes
Yeah.
just go get a land.
So 3 and a green, destroy a land or search your library for a land, put it into play, untapped, and then shuffle. And the Entwine is for 1 and a green. So for 6 mana, you can destroy a land and go looking for a land of your own.
Yeah.
It's way more satisfying to blow up one of their lands for 6 mana and also go get your Academy or whatever. Like you usually want to do it, but probably even more often it just gets paid for 4 to be a land.
The trick is that this card, the first one found the land, and you would find your missing Tron piece or another cloud post. The second one blew up their land.
right. Right.
And sometimes you would be like, oh, well, I'm just going to blow up your land. Like, I
Sure.
have multiple Reap and Sows. I'm just going to blow up your land or
Yeah.
whatever. But, like, most of the Entwine cards, you are only really happy if you're doing both. Like, Tooth and Nail is a great example.
Yeah, because
right?
Tooth and Nail's maybe the most played one.
The
I don't know.
classic, I would say.
Rape and Soda's been played a fair bit, but Tooth and Nail's an entire strategy.
Yeah, 5 green, green. You either search your library for 2 creature cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand, or you put 2 creature cards from your hand out of the battlefield. Entwine for 2 more, so for a total of 9 mana, you just go tutor up 2 creatures and put them into play.
God, this card was like tournament playable.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah,
to
there was
think
a
of
different time.
nowadays.
This was
Yeah.
a stalwart include in the Magic Online Cube for many years.
Yep. So yeah, this card is funny because we were talking about how they have 3 modes, and technically true. It's just with Tooth and Nail, you're almost always entwining, but you do have the one other mode, which sometimes you have a draw where they're just both in your hand
Yeah,
already. You just pay 7 to put them in play.
Yeah.
but you almost never pay 7 to just go look for 2 creatures.
Sometimes this card is Elvish Spirit Guide. Where you're just I'll just
This is
play
one-
this.
one mana
Yes,
less.
one
Yeah.
mana.
Yeah.
It's 1 mana to get.
Let's do it.
It's cheaper than Greater Hoof.
Yeah.
And casting the hoof.
That's
And then
right.
you get Spell Pierced, and you're like, oh, shit. All right.
Well, at least you still have the hoof in your hand.
I don't know. I think Entwine's like a C. It's inoffensive, but also like, I mean, maybe the fact. Okay, so the
could be a B.
mechanical part of it is that you get both, but also, and like our criticism is that you always get both. But if that's the mechanical aspect of it, doesn't that make it good?
Yeah.
You know, like,
Well,
but
they just printed mostly cards where it's like extremely synergistic to do both.
yeah, you just want to always do both.
But then
which
it's pretty skill testing to like draw the card and try to figure out if you're like, oh wait, I might not use my mana unless I cast my Entwine card.
But I
only
think
have
the
one half.
intention is that they're like, people can have the option to choose both, and they don't use that option. But instead, they buy into the Entwine, so maybe they're saddling up. I don't know.
I want to give it at least a B.
Okay, we can give it B.
Are you into B?
No, but we can give it B.
You want to give it C or D?
I want to give it C. I don't care about Entwine.
I'm proud of them for going like, let's make kicker that's different enough that people will remember, but it's still actually kicker.
Somebody asks me what Tooth and Nail does, what Reap and Sow does, what Blinding Beam does. I don't tell them Entwine. Someone's like, what does Tooth and Nail do? I'm like, oh, it's 9 mana. You find 2 creatures, put them into play. What's Reap and Sow do? 4 mana, find your Tolarian Academy. What's the Blinding Beam do? 4 mana, tap down their 2 creatures at instant speed. They don't untap, right?
Sure.
Like that's the explanation of the card, which makes me want to put it lower. But we can put it at B. That's fine.
All right.
All right. Next up, Ninjutsu.
S. Well, A, S.
So there's this one block of Magic the Gathering where Wheeler's going to try to put all of the
No,
mechanics up right at the
hold
top.
hold on.
We already did an S tier Bushido.
I very much doubt that James included Sweep in the final round of
Hey,
mechanics.
we included
Sweep?
Gravestorm. Sweep's got
to be in there.
Sweep's
Sweep's
got to be in there.
So
too cool of a mechanic not to do.
we're looking at Ninja of the Deep Hours. It's 3 and a blue for a 2/2. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. Cool. But it also has Ninjutsu, which is for 1 and a blue, return an unblocked attacker you control to your hand, and you put this card into play, tapped and attacking. So you just sort of go, haha, surprise, it was a ninja. Also, I I stress it is ninjutsu, not ninjitsu. That's a U. Everyone says ninjitsu. It's ninjutsu.
Have you talked to Americans? They're dumb as hell. Anyways,
I'm referring to Canadians in this case. But
have you
yes.
talked to Canadians? They're dumb as
hell,
Americans.
That's true. Yeah.
I don't know. I've just never seen the word ninjutsu anywhere else. And so then when people said ninjutsu at the LGS, I was like, okay, sure, that's what you say.
Somebody's not going to be the next Okage. That's for sure.
You're so right. Seriously, though, this is an S tier mechanic. It
It's
incentivizes
really fun.
you to attack. And then mid-combat, you get to do something fun where you get to play this like shell game of like, hey, do I have a ninja in my hand? Do you need to try to block everything? If I do have a ninja and you can't block everything, which one do you want to block? Which one do you want to make me have to cast again? It's fun for you as the attacker with the ninja. It's fun for the opponent, kind of. I mean, oftentimes they're hosed either way. But
the only downsides for this is one, there's always a learning moment. Like the first time you encounter it, there's a learning moment. And some people, Americans, don't like to learn, or Canadians that are like Americans. Anyways, the bit's done. There's a learning moment of like they go to removal spell and you're like, oh, we already declared a blockers. So I'm going to respond and ninjutsu out this card. So your removal spell doesn't work. And they're like, oh, that's how that works? Oh, okay. But now they know, right? You know not to
block and then
not to block and then do it.
Swords, yeah.
Just which is cool. It people get taught like it's usually best to play removal or instance whatever at the last possible moment, and then the game's like, okay, but Magic's not a game where you can just say like you should do X.
There's
Y, or
no
Z.
really hard rules.
Yes, and then secondly, it's not the most evergreen name.
Sure.
Although. Who cares nowadays? I mean, like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
They've found ways to bring it back.
They say it does matter. No, man. Like, if you had, like, a Streets of New Capenna, like, set, and you're like, yeah, this thing's a ninja. It's like, okay.
Ninja in my Bloomborough Crow or whatever.
I'm just looking at, like, the recent cards printed, and there are cards from, like, the Thunder Junction Commander decks with ninjutsu.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well,
they're ninjas, but
once the omen paths have opened up, right, it makes it a little easier. But even without the omen paths, it's like, I don't know, man. You telling me your plane doesn't have anybody from Japan on it? Come on, brother. But yeah, it's evocative, it's powerful, it's a fan favorite. The cards are cool. Incentivizes you to build in a very specific way to attack, to play cards you might not normally play. Mm-hmm. Yeah, dog, that's an S. It gets blue players to tap out on their own turn.
Yep.
oh,
That's huge.
No, it's big, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge.
It moves cards around zones a lot, which, I don't know, that's just satisfying.
Gets people to make plays that they wouldn't normally make, like tempo, positive, like card value negative plays, which we are starting to lack in Magic the Gathering.
Sure.
Yeah, it's great.
sweet.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then let's move speedily along to a long-running mechanic, though it wasn't always named. It's haste.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
The first creature with haste.
I love that you chose Nether,
Nether
Shadow.
Shadow.
Yeah.
I love
It's the first one with haste.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Shadow can attack on same turn summoned or returned to play.
My 5-year-old cousin explaining Sonic Adventure Battleground.
Shadow can attack on same turn summoned.
Okay. Do
You
you want to go
really-
back to Chow Garden or
Really
like,
ran out of room there. Yeah.
Is haste too good, and so it should be A tier?
Nah, it's
haste,
S tier, man.
haste is pretty busted, but
Creatures suck. Well, not anymore.
Yeah. No, you're right. If you look to the 90s, it's like we need haste.
Yeah.
Haste
Like,
is one of
Counterspell
those,
and Mana Drain are too good.
Haste is one of those mechanics that like it's so fundamental to the way that all of Magic is designed that it's like a creature can't attack the turn that you play it, and this says, but this one can.
Yeah.
What about Second Breakfast?
Yeah.
Think of some of the worst sets in Magic the Gathering, and think of the cards from that set, the creatures specifically, where you're like, actually, that could kind of kill people. I could see people doing that. A lot of them are haste creatures.
Right.
Right? Like, you'll think about Homelands or whatever, and you're like, actually, Aaron the Relentless is like a banger.
Kind of a cool
right?
card.
Like, you think about Saviors of Kamigawa, and you're like, yeah, I guess Glitter Fang is kind of cool in what it does, right? Chips in. Cold Snap, it's like Lightning Serpent. Yeah, I get a ball lightning with X, right? Like there's some cool. Haste is so cool, and they can be. It's really cool on tokens as well, creating that kind of ephemeral. Like they get in, they do a thing, they're gone, and that's so dope. It's an S. It's haste. It, like you said, the DNA of Magic the Gathering. I think Magic would be a worse game without haste.
Sure.
Yeah, which is like, I don't know, dog. You take away Cascade, I'm still probably enjoying this game.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I like the little boot too.
Oh, that's cute. Mercury's shoe.
Yeah. All right. Well, here's another card or another mechanic that fundamentally messes with the way that Magic's rules are laid out. Flash.
Oh. We're getting a lot of like the French vanilla.
This is tough.
Mechanics today.
There's so many S tier.
We're getting a lot of S tier mechanics today. So Flash and Haste. It's neat that we got them back to back because they share a lot of DNA with each other. They're sort of like cousins or siblings or whatever, right? Because they're both ways to get around your opponent, like stuffing you with instants.
Right.
Like if your opponent was planning to kill your creature that you played on your last turn, on your turn now, with their mana from their most recent turn, and then you play a haste creature, you're like, okay, now I have 2 creatures. So if you can kill both of them, great. But if not, hey, I'm getting around your use of mana.
Right.
And Flash does the same thing by just saying, like, hey, at the end of your turn, I'm going to play a threat. And then if you want to deal with it, great. And then I'm going to untap my mana and also spend my mana on my turn.
Yeah, people also just associate Flash as like this card can be cast at your opponent's end step. When in actuality, you can cast this card whenever.
It's a variety
and,
of times.
Even if this is just letting you get around counter magic, right? You're like, go ahead, and your blue or your controlling opponent's like, well, I'm going to play a draw spell at your end of turn. You're like, okay, I'm going to respond and flash out my creature. And you're like, this is when your mana is used. You're still playing your creature on your turn and effectively just playing it as though you played it at main phase.
Yeah.
But you're doing so in a way that now your opponent, if they want to get rid of it, they have to use like a removal spell on their turn with their mana or on your turn with their mana, but they are taking the initiative. And then they have to be like, well, do I want to wait until they untap? Because then maybe they have protection. So maybe I have to use it on my main phase. So like ninjutsu, we're forcing blue players to use their goddamn mana on their turn.
I'm once again begging you to tap out.
Or we're making blue players play creatures.
Yeah.
Like Snapcaster Mage is so funny because this card did help change how blue matchups were played across a variety of formats. Like you just played creatures. You played a creature that could kill your opponent that was cheap. Like Vendilion Clique's another good example, right? Fairies did a lot of lifting in that category, but like blue decks weren't playing Morphlings. They weren't playing like Kegas or like Malokus. It's just, you could just play the Snapcaster Mage, bolt their creature, flashback an Impulse or whatever, and like you just go to the dome. So it's good against the blue players that aren't using their mana, and good for the blue players to get them to play more creatures. And just also is just so cool. I don't know. Flash is great. Again, like this Magic would be a worse game without creatures or like enchantments or artifacts or whatever.
Yeah.
If Flash is gone, this game would be a lot worse.
It'd be a lot different. It's also, it's worth pointing out here a little side story. Like I don't know which developer or designer. I want to say Rosewater. I think Mark Rosewater said, like, if we could go back, I would just cut instants.
And
just give sorceries flash. And it's like, because all the other permanents except lands, sometimes have flash. It's like maybe you want to go one step further, and it's just like there's just a dot on the card that's like it's sorcery or it's flash speed, like instant speed, right? So it's like one or the other because you don't need a whole card type that's sorcery with flash. So it is extremely core, like haste, right? Like both of them are very fundamental Magic stuff, and the game would be really different without any cards with flash. And it does feel good. I don't know. It's overall like a fun mechanic, I would say. It's kind of simple, but maybe it is S tier. Maybe we just risk it and put it in S.
I'd put it in S.
Let's just put it in S, and if we need to, maybe we'll use a swap later. Maybe we're just getting all the good ones off the rip here.
There are some upcoming that I think are less good than Flash or Haste.
Okay.
Without spoiling anything.
Right? Yeah.
Next up, however, I think one that I don't think it's S tier, but I don't think it's dog water either. It's Fabricate. This was from Kaladesh. Fabricate N. When this creature enters the battlefield, you either put N +1/+1 counters on the creature, or you make N servos. We're looking at Visionary Augmenter with Fabricate 2. It's a 2/1, so either it'll be a 2/1 with 2 counters on it, so a 4/3 for 4 mana, or it'll be a 2/1 with 2 1/1 tokens.
Yeah, this Fabricate's a banger.
Yeah.
The only downside is that it pushes a bit too much for artifacts, and servo is a little tied to certain locations.
Sure.
You know?
Servo is from Kaladesh, right? Like that.
Yeah.
Subscribe Servo Facts.
Servo's originally...
feels like
Servo's originally...
sorry,
they
from
are
Avishkar.
they are an Avishkar
Right.
creation, basically.
The set Kaladesh.
Yes.
Yes.
They are from the
Sorry.
set Kaladesh on the world of Avishkar.
Yeah.
If they're like a construct or whatever, or like so Fabricate would work pretty well in like a Mirrodin setting, and you'd want like, I don't know, mirror tokens or whatever. Yeah. It's the kind of thing where
Dominaria
maybe
has a lot of artifacts and stuff.
Yeah.
The whole Brothers War thing.
it's maybe a world where they like end up giving it the amass treatment.
Right. Maybe it'll be like retcon to be like Fabricate Servo too.
Yeah.
You know, +1/+1 or servos, and then you can have Fabricate Mirror, Fabricate Construct token.
But
Fabricate Gnomish Soldier or whatever.
But it is the classic, like, you want to go big or you want to go you want to go
Right.
tall or you want to go wide.
Yeah. I kind of want to downgrade this ability a little bit just because it's like it's pretty straightforward, like it's pretty simple. And the decision's usually not that hard in game. Like usually just like if you get your spell in the stack and it resolves, you're usually pretty sure.
Yeah,
one or the other is going to be better.
Are you saying that as a person that knows how to play Magic? Because, like, have you seen people play Magic, man? They don't know.
Oh,
like,
I see. I wasn't sure where you were going with that one.
The idea is less obvious to a lot of players of like going wide or going
All right,
tall.
all
And
right. So this puzzle
I mean, I'm not
has
saying,
some value, you mean.
Yeah.
This puzzle has some value.
And, like, especially once you get a more complex card. There's can I get Cultivator of Blades? I think is what it's called.
Oh, yeah, this is a weird one.
This one's great.
So Cultivator of Blades, 3 green for a 1/1 with Fabricate 2. So it's either a 3/3 or you get 2 1/1s. When Cultivator of Blade attacks, you may have other attacking creatures get +X until end of turn, where X is the Cultivator's power.
Okay, that's a beautiful design.
So you go big and it attacks, your creatures will get +X, +3/+3, because its power is larger.
Yeah.
But if you Fabricate, you just get more creatures so that your Cultivator of Blades can buff. That's so cool. And it's not Marionette Master.
Yes.
Like, it's just... I think that when you have Fabricate tied to other text on the card, which a lot of, that's just designing a Magic card, is you give it a keyword and you try to figure out what that means with other abilities. I think it gives it some extra points. I'm still fine putting it at B.
Sure.
Just so we're clear.
Oh, yeah.
I'm fine putting it at B.
B is totally fine. Yeah.
But, like, in my
It's
heart...
solid.
In my heart, it's an A. Like, it's just...
Okay, let's just leave it an A. I'm okay with A.
Wait, hold on. I said B.
You said B. Do you want it at B or A?
Let's put it at A because James put it at A.
James put it at A because James loves it too.
Yeah.
Fabricate hasn't really committed any crimes.
It's also just a cool limited mechanic. I don't
Yeah.
know. Like, I enjoy... Like, Kaladesh Limited was... I played so much of it. It was a lot of fun, but, like, it's very much like Kamigawa and Neon Dynasty, where it's like my enjoyment doesn't necessarily reflect the quality of that draft format, right? If you take off the blinders and you're like, oh my god, it's all renegade freighters
Right.
or thriving rhinos,
Yeah.
then it's like not as good.
Did that happen in Neon Dynasty? Oh, maybe yours.
Oh yeah, it happened in Neon Dynasty.
Because I thought Neon Dynasty stayed beloved, and I don't remember what it was that people were doing that was the most busted thing by the end of it or whatever.
7 out of 10 draft set, 7 out of 10 draft sets, Japan.
Okay.
Like it was, yeah. The aggressive, some of the aggressive strategies to the Warrior Oath strategies were just a little too.
Okay.
There was some very fun, like 4 and 5 color decks by the end of that draft format.
Yeah, you could do some good stuff. It was fun,
right.
But there's a big difference between like it has a lot of replay value, but like if you know what you're doing,
Sure.
yeah.
So next up, I got a question for you, James, related to this, because what we have on the list here is the mechanic solved.
Oh, yeah.
Cases.
Yeah, I assume cases are not somehow a separate entry.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I mean, I'll check.
Yeah,
So
case,
we're looking at cases / solved here together as the thing. But
Correct.
solved is the one with the name.
case is like a card type, right?
correct.
Or a
Yeah.
subtype.
Yeah.
So, yeah, these were introduced in Murders at Karlov Manor. They look kind of like sagas, except the text is on the other side of the card, if you've noticed that. They're on the same side, actually, as levels, or the class mechanic, or the talents, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Classes. Yeah.
Class, yeah.
so, let's read this one. Case of the Locked Hothouse, 3 and a green. And it's got... It says you may play an additional land on each of your turns, and that's just always true. To solve the case, you control 7 or more lands, meaning if at your end step you control 7 or more lands, you solve the case. When solved, it then says you may look at the top card of your library at any time, and you may play land cards and cast creature and enchantment spells from the top of your library. So they're an enchantment that they enter, and they have a static ability, or they do something. They do a triggered ability when they enter. Then, if you meet a condition, they do something bigger and better.
It is cool that because this is the same year as Duskmourn, right? It's cool that they just did Impending twice.
Right.
And got away with it.
Yeah.
This is not this. I think this is.
It's 2024.
Yeah, it was the same year.
yeah,
This was
same year as
January of
Duskmourn.
last year. Duskmourn was October of last year.
There's so many things.
Yeah, there's just a lot
All
of
right.
sets.
Yeah, sure.
Next year, after next year, we're never going to be able to remember when any Magic set came out because they all come out next year.
Yeah.
I want to. I'm very low on this
Yeah.
ability.
How do you feel about the case of the stashed skeleton? No.
Yeah, you've probably already heard me
mean-
talk about Stash Skeleton on a podcast.
I was going to say that's the one that springs to mind. I mean, this one I named, but the Stash Skeleton one is the one I see the most often, which is when it enters, you make a 2/1 and suspect it. So it's a 2/1 skeleton that can't block and has menace. And then to be fair, this is up there in my favorite lines of rules text ever, of just to solve, you control no suspected skeleton.
That is a banger
that
sentence.
rips.
Yeah,
It's
that
very
does.
funny.
That's awesome.
If you can somehow get rid of it or make it I don't think there's a way to unsuspect something. So you just if it dies,
Is it a counter? No.
There's a card that says target suspected creature is no longer suspect.
okay?
Okay.
Then if you've solved it, then you can pay 1 and a black and sacrifice it, and then it's just a tutor.
Right. The problem I have with this card is mostly that activated only as a sorcery line. Like, if I could just get my skeleton off the board, and then in that same turn cycle, I don't care if I can't cast another sorcery after, but like on your turn, if I could tutor for it, then I'd be more into this card. But this is the one I've like tried to make work the most. I know there's the white one that like kills a creature.
Yeah, that card saw play. The
That card's-
case of the
This is the
the
feast?
train. No, the train one.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
right.
like-
This is the like Murder on the Orient Express.
Yeah,
card.
I think that one is like still getting played in standard. Like, yeah, Gateway Express comes down, burns a creature,
Yeah.
and then you just have to attack, and then it provides an extra point of power to all your creatures after that.
Cool.
Yeah, this one's actually
It's pretty solid.
very easy to solve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's seen that show.
D? I don't know. C? I don't know.
I'm fine putting this at D.
Sure.
My issue with this is that when I look at it, naturally it's going to draw comparisons to, like you said, the classes or the talents or impending, and then I just wish these cards were those instead. Like, I just wish it was done in a way that was a little more satisfying to the person playing it. Maybe the formatting was a little bit better. Like, it just doesn't do it.
In
Like-
fairness, like they had this goal from a top-down perspective.
Yeah.
And like it could have been worse. Like you did like communicate to me through the game design, like, hey, the characters have this problem, they're trying to solve it, they're investigating a mystery, and like there's a reward for figuring it out, and like a difficult part in the middle where they're gathering information or whatever. And it's like, yeah, I get that that's what this is.
Right.
It just didn't end up being that fun to play as a Magic player.
Yeah.
So that stuff.
All right. Interesting, because this was all random, but another mechanic from the same set, we have Disguise. So Disguise was similar to Morph, but not.
Power crept more.
Yeah, so you can pay 3 mana to cast the card as a face-down colorless creature, but it has Ward 2. and then you can turn the creature face up at any time using a state-based action by paying its disguise cost. So we're looking at Coveted Falcon. It's 1 blue for a 1/4 with flying. Whenever it attacks, you gain control of a permanent you own but don't control. Don't worry about it. It's a weird one. Whenever its disguise cost here is 1 and a blue, and when it's turned face up, target opponent gains control of any number of target permanents you control, and you draw a card for each one they gain control of this way. So like you attack with it, and then you flip it face up, and you give them a thing, and then you hit them, and then you get your thing back, and you draw a card.
James for putting the most confusing.
Yeah, this was a weird pull for disguise, but fair enough. Anyway,
with it.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, dealing with it actively. So yeah, disguise. It's morphed with ward.
We weren't shitty enough as a community about Manifest.
Yeah.
I don't like that there are all these different mechanics where you put your card face down, and like I probably would have whined about it more by now, but Daybound, Nightbound still exists.
Yeah, it's I also just like hate what it represents, right? Where you're like, look, I'm not under the idea that like gray ogres were ever playable. But like morph cards saw a lot of play, right? Like
Yeah, Willbender's a card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The mystery associated with it, the like, oh my god, what's under that? Do I have to use a spell on this? Should I use a spell on this? Whatever. Like that is that has seen tournament play, tournament success over both the initial introduction of morph in the Onslaught block, but also when it was brought back around Time Spiral. Like we saw morph cards show up. And the fact that they're like, well, you can't do that anymore. It's too bad. So we have to give it Ward 2. Just feels not great. Like, I'm not here to necessarily tweak the numbers to say, like, it'd be better if it was Ward 1, or if you just didn't want me to touch it, make it Ward 3 or
Right.
whatever. But, like, it's just, I dislike, I just don't like the Ward 2, even if it does make them better. It's just...
Yeah, this is like air quotes better than morph.
They're just
but
it's just acknowledging what has happened to the game, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm not a fan of what has happened to the game, I guess. Like the power creep of it all feels a little weird, and like I don't know, generic 3-mana 2/2 with Ward 2 is like kind of annoying to also just have a bunch of them running around. You like this limited environment.
I did.
Lot,
I
right?
wanted to. I want to put up for the limited environment. For the purpose of the limited environment, it did it offered another way to fix playing morphs and limited. So like shock is still in this set, but if you want to kill a morph with your shock, you have to pay 3. Cons of Tarkir did it in a way that like had a more lasting impact with the community, I think, where they're just like, hey, 3-mana morph, if it runs into another creature, they're going to have to pay more than 4 mana if they want to like eat your morph when they flip. If they pay 4 mana or less, you're going to trade with your morph, and maybe they get something else. They have some reason for doing it, right? They have that.
The removal
they've got an
spells
enchantment
are
in play or
also
whatever.
more expensive for cons.
Yeah,
right?
for
like
sure.
Debilitating injury. You're trading up
Yeah.
because it costs 2 mana. You're dealing with a 3-mana card, but like 2 mana sorcery speed, just -2/-2 enchantment is not.
Yeah.
Like it deals with the morphs, but like also. You do it at sorcery speed. If they have mana, they might flip up something big enough, and it doesn't actually kill it. Like there's a lot of 6/7 going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. The cons removal environment also meant that like your morphs were sort of safe.
Right. They kind of acknowledge like, don't put shock in.
In a morph set.
In your morph set,
Don't put shock
which
in your
they
morph
did
set.
in Onslaught, which
Yes.
is very funny.
Yeah.
And they
Well,
they had it in cons, but at an uncommon. Right. Wild Slash was an uncommon. Also in the smaller set in Fate Reforged.
Right, it was in Fate Reforged.
Yeah.
Right, so things started to change a bit in Fate Reforged.
But also at uncommon, it's fine.
Yeah.
At common is.
It's like a really high pick to be able to kill a morph for 1 mana. So
So what are you thinking? C or D?
yeah. God. Okay, are we put
I'll leave
are we
it
gonna
to
put
you.
Are we gonna put one at C and the other at D between what's this called
Cloak?
again? Disguise and Cloak? Yeah, I was gonna say because Cloak is coming too.
I was gonna mention
Cloak
that
the even worse offender.
because I don't think you can dock points against disguise that cloak exists, but I don't think this set needed both
of
morph
them?
and manifest
Yeah.
with ward in the same set. I don't know why they felt they needed to try and ram both of them in there with all the other mechanics that were going on.
I always think that people are maybe a little too harsh on MKM, and then you start to read the set.
Yeah.
Not the creative side.
Don't
Yeah.
worry.
Although
I appreciate it.
although,
I understand.
Sometimes a little less detectives. But like, there's a lot of that set does a lot of good, and like it's easy to pull out the good parts of that. Or it's not easy, but
Man.
like
There's a bunch of cool cards.
There's a lot of cool cards,
Yeah,
and there's a
not
lot of
just the
fun
lands.
play patterns.
Like World Souls Rage is really cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of
I
good
love that
stuff.
Aurelia.
A lot of
I
good
don't know.
stuff going on in there. But then you like,
You know how hard it was to name all the detectives? They're like, all right, this set is like mostly detectives by volume. Also, you can't call them a private dick or a gumshoe.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, well,
I think that
investigator, a lot of investigators.
Isn't Private Dick Gumshoe an Ace Attorney character?
I want to put it at D.
Yeah, I'll put it.
I think I'm just going to put both of
That's
them at D.
fine. Okay.
Cloak, you're headed for D as well.
All right. Next up, relatively new at time of recording. We're recording this after the release of Avatar, but still fresh to mind is web slinging, known to arena players
same-
as NWeb.
Right, on the same episode as Ninjutsu.
Okay. So, please don't firebomb my house.
Okay.
I want to put this at S. I mean, we
Really?
don't have a lot of room, so I guess we could put it at A because the name is stupid. But, like, I love web slinging.
Web
It-
slinging is kind of cool.
It plays so well.
Your opponent doesn't mind as much. It's like a ninjutsu where they're like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
It plays quite well, right? There's no haha gotcha, which is like if the Spider-Man set, it was intending to be for like beginners or like an introduction for people to Magic the Gathering, right? Think about how madness turned to mayhem, and so there's less gotcha moments because you can't just randomly mayhem at instant speed. There are some mayhem cards with flash, but or instants, but like it's you lose that like, why is there now an arrogant worm killing me?
Yeah.
And then web slinging, you don't have that moment with ninjutsu of like, oh, so I lose my removal spell and I get hit by a bigger creature and you get this benefit because your ninja hit me.
Yeah.
And so I think there's more, there's merit to that.
Yeah.
Right. And like, also when you look at this and once you start to understand like the ways that you can web slinging, it gets a little exciting. You're like,
That's true.
Ooh, Springleaf Drum? Oh, Convoke. Hey. Or like in the case of Standard, hey, I like my
Station.
Spider-Man cards.
Yeah.
I'm going to Station and then web slinging. I'm going to Waterbend, then web slinging. Right? And that's cool. It when mechanics coordinate with each other, then you get to play a diverse like array of cards or mechanics, whereas ninjutsu is typically like you do have to play cards you wouldn't normally play, but a lot of the times you're like, here are my evasive creatures, here are my ninjas, right? But web slinging, it's like, yeah, I'm web slinging with waterbending, with convoke
maybe.
or stationing,
Yeah.
or just like playing these weird card cohort. And finally, a way to make cohort good. It's cool. But like the name is like, what do you?
Sure.
I mean, I get why, but
Sure.
like,
We got to take some points off of it for being in the set that it's from. Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I need to try to argue to drop it to B tier. It is a really cool mechanic. Like, it's fine. We can put web slinging at A.
And
You're
it's
happy
good.
with that?
I like putting it at A.
Okay, let's put
Yeah.
it there.
All right.
Now give us the garbage, Graham.
Well, there's some coming up. There's some good stuff coming up too, I think, but what do I know? First up, though, next rather, is Encore.
Do you want more?
Crook and Crow for the Brooklyn boy. Yeah, Encore. So it's you pay quite a lot and you exile the creature. Generally, these are all creatures from your graveyard, and then for each opponent, you make a token copy that attacks that opponent this turn. The tokens gain haste, and you sacrifice them at the beginning of the end step. So we're looking at Angel of Indemnity here. It's 6 mana for a 5/5 with flying and lifelink. When it enters the battlefield, notably it has an enters the battlefield trigger. You return target permanent with mana value 4 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. If they kill it, then for for the encore cost of 6 white, in a commander game, you make 3 tokens of this. You get 3 enters triggers, and then you're attacking each of your opponents with a 5/5 flying lifelink. Pretty big.
Okay, so it is Unearth, which we gave an S.
But
Yep.
but Myriad hooked up with it in a locker room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know. And we gave Myriad like an A or something, or a B maybe.
I think we gave Myriad an A. I'd give this a B.
Okay.
It's less exciting than Myriad because you only get a one
You only
shot.
do it one time. Yeah.
And there are a small enough number of encore cards where I will start taking the individual designs and like the rate into consideration.
Sure.
You know, like
There's 25 total so far.
and a lot of them encore for quite a bit of mana. Understandably
a lot.
so. It's a powerful effect.
It's a really powerful effect, and yeah, unlike the Myriad cards, you know, they don't have to be balanced around like, well, you're gonna maybe do this every turn or whatever.
Yeah, there's like a 1-mana 1/1 with Myriad, and you're like, that's okay.
Yeah,
Right? Like
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
fine. But all the encore, like there's a 1-mana, there's the Pilferer. This card's like one of the better encore
Impulsive
cards.
Pilferer.
Pulse Pilfer
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate.
Yeah,
When it dies, you make a treasure.
And then has encore for 4.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is great because it makes you more treasures. But like, I think that's one of the cheaper encore cards. Like, Kangi's Lieutenant has encore for like 6. That's like a 3-mana 1/1 flyer that boosts flyers. Like it's, I don't know. I think this is like a classic B.
Sure.
It's just like
I like B for this mechanic. Like we liked Unearth a lot. I begrudgingly accepted Myriad, but yeah, there is something about putting them together where like it has to be really balanced. So it's only so fun.
Yeah.
I guess, you know,
Yeah.
it's like this mechanic doesn't actually go that hard. It turns out. Like
Myriad, it's just I
have to
wish
pay a
it
lot of
were,
mana.
and I think they kind of figured that out too. They're like,
Yeah.
hey, what if we just had encore, but you got to play with your card up front? And then they made Myriad, and it's like, oh yeah, this rules. Let's keep making Myriad.
right.
All right. So Encore is going at a B.
Let's put it on card.
Final answer, Graham.
All right. Next, for Mirrodin. So it's like even larger Job Select before Job Select existed, itself even larger than Living Weapon. It is an ability on artifacts, or sorry, equipment specifically, and when the equipment enters, you make a 2/2 red rebel creature token and attach the equipment to it.
Would we have been happier if they like did the amass thing with Living Weapon, where they were like Living Weapon N or whatever, you know, where it's just like it tells you what kind of token it has instead of giving us like
The Phyrexian
new
Germ.
ability. Yeah, instead of for Mirrodin needing to be a distinct ability from Living Weapon. I don't know. I guess the like flavor of Living Weapon is very tied to the germ.
Yeah,
token.
I like Living Weapon only making Phyrexian germs because it's the germ
Yeah.
taking over the equipment.
Right.
Like that feels very thematic. And when the germ is killed, the equipment's just there.
Right.
But like, yeah, if Job Select for Mirrodin, if all these like bring a buddy cards, like I just don't like this in general. It's one of the ways of fixing equipment.
Yeah.
And like there's some charm to it for sure, but it's I don't know. It's just they just keep doing it and
Right.
it feels a little like we're losing a bit of it. you
Yeah,
know?
washing all the equipments out with buddies that come with them feels a little bit like playing another TCG where you can't get land screwed.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
kind of like that. Like, oh, good. I'm not going to fall into the pitfall of like drawing my Jitte and not having a creature in play. I won't have to worry about that. And they're like, well, actually, the reward you felt from putting thing 1 with thing 2 to create Happy Feeling 3 is actually also gone.
I think it's actually okay for people to have a range of emotions when they're playing Magic the Gathering, not just always having my bread buttered.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
you should let people draw one part of their deck and not the other part of their deck occasionally.
Yeah.
That can be alleviated with building a better deck, learning from your decisions, or like learning how to, changing how you sequence things. Or if you're going to do this, I just enjoy it more in the terms of germ tokens or like a 1/1. A 2/2 is like a whole ass bear.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Also, God, I really wanted to drop an F-bomb, but I'm not going to. Quit dangling rebels in front of me.
Oh no! Unless you're going to fully give me more
Give
rebels
me
that
more.
search each other up and stuff.
Why are we still paying for the sins of Lynn Civvy
Right.
and friends? It's such dog. Sorry, 105.54. It's like. Why? They don't do we get like one rebel here and there and they all suck or they're just related to like there's a rebel from Avatar that has nothing to do with other rebels but also isn't generic enough. Like why are rebels in jail for like the crimes of the worst block of Magic the Gathering? It pisses me off, man.
So
Tutoring is a powerful effect.
Yeah, I know.
But you're right. The rebels and mercenaries are pretty fair.
They're just
pay a
like
lot of mana.
nowadays.
Yeah.
like it's just like what are you worried about? These rebel decks are going to take over too many commander tables. Anyways, my Field of the Dead will trigger, making 8 zombies. Right? Like it's.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't know. I'm gearing up to put for Mirrodin at C.
It's a C.
I do love playing with the card. Like they're great cards, but like as a mechanic goes, I think you need to look at the whole of equipment mechanics. And it's like, well, this wasn't really inspired.
Yeah,
You know, they were just like, let's bring back Living Weapon, but different.
There's some individual cards, but like if you replaced For Mirrodin with like this enters with a 2/2.
Sure.
It would not change how I feel about the card, like strategically or emotionally. Where if you made the germ into like a clown token, I'd be like, why isn't this a germ? You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right.
Like
So
if
it
it made
would
a
feel
0/0
off.
clown.
it's it makes the gameplay too obvious and easy when it's just like, oh yeah, you can play the equipment because there's no downside.
There's
Is that sort of what you're saying?
There's
or?
that, and the fact that like this has already been done, and they're like, okay, we're iterating on it. So like the mechanic for Mirrodin isn't really a new mechanic. Like it's just a different flavor of another.
It's very
mechanic.
much it's disguise coded,
Right.
right?
This is from the flavor aspect. This is the mirror because Living Weapon was Phyrexian, and this is now the Mirren answer, I guess.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah, like
I
I'm
see
going to
what
want
you're
to
saying.
rank Fear, the mechanic, higher than Intimidate.
Right.
Well, I mean, I do think it's important that newer players and like newer releases have mechanics that build upon older mechanics, right? Like not just. It's easy to look at some of the stuff that Nelson and I are saying, and it's like, well, you're two Magic boomers. It's like, well, guess what, idiot? We also play new cards all the time and like playing with new cards all the time. It's just sometimes you get cards and abilities where it's like, well, we're aware that you've done this before and you did so in a way that was satisfying every single time, and your iteration didn't make it more charming. It just was a reflection on the way you're pushing certain design trends, and these people don't know better.
Yeah, you are not the characters that we scripted in that one episode of Friday Nights.
Which one? Oh, the villain.
Grumpy Boomers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, in the store.
Oh,
yeah.
No, but
In
we
the-
did. I believe we were the two.
We may have had
we
that
may
conversation.
have added some suggestion to some posters and.
Yes, you suggested adding the unbanned Lynn Civvy poster.
Yes. Oh my god!
Now
I
that
forgot
you
about
mention
that.
it,
yeah. I like Rebels. So what? Yeah.
All right. Well, don't worry. I'll back you up with that one. Our next mechanic is backup. This is from March of the Machines.
Yeah.
So backup is an interesting one. It's backup N, and it's when this creature enters, you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, which could be itself. But if it's another creature, that creature gains the rest of the text below backup until end of turn. So we're looking at Golden Scale Aeronaut. It's 5 mana for a 2/3 flyer with backup 1. So you can just make it a 3/4 flyer and be done with it. Or you can put that counter on something else and it gains flying until end of turn.
So, well,
What you got?
I don't know. Are you going to be into putting this at S tier?
I think backup's a masterpiece.
I actually think backup it's so impressive because it manages to pull off something that like from the like judge's perspective seems extremely complicated, and like I can't remember getting a judge call about it ever. I can't
That's
remember
so-
anyone not figuring
That's
it out.
so funny because my experience has been countered to this.
Oh, okay.
Where
Okay.
I can't think of a mechanic where I've had more people ask me how it works.
Okay.
And I'm like, dog, read the card. Like, like I want to just be like,
My experience with it, people intuitively figure it out. They're just like, okay.
you'd think that.
Right.
You'd think that. And like, I think it's pretty intuitive.
Okay.
But
not everyone. Maybe it's an A. It's a great mechanic. Like we're both fans, obviously.
I love it. It is so I love mechanics that just offer endless possibilities, right? You just look at this and you get to go, oh, this gives something flying? What if there was something that gave it double strike? And you find out there's one that gives a double strike. And you're like, oh my God, that's even better. And then you go, well, what if it was something that gives this instead or does this and this? And that's fun. You get people, like, they just start percolating about all the different ways that you can utilize backup and future backup cards.
What's the really cool black rare?
Archpriest of Shadows.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this great example,
yeah,
right?
I forgot about
It's
this
like if somebody just encounters the flying keyword, the double strike keyword or whatever first, they're like, that's really cool. What else could they add? Then they run into this bad boy because they go, what if there's one that gives death touch? And they find out there's a common, but then there's also a rare that not only gives death touch, but also says whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player or battle, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Banger. Like, you're just like, oh, you can do that? Well, then I'm going to think about all my favorite creatures that have when I hit you triggers and wanting those cards to be on backup creatures. The only time where it could get a little awkward, I don't actually think there's a card that does it now, is that we may encounter cards where you have ability, backup, and then other ability. I think there may be a couple.
I thought there was.
That can be... I can understand that being
There's
a little
something where the
confusing.
backup isn't the top ability.
Oh, here we go.
Well, mountain cycling,
yeah, you can only do that from your hand.
only kind of
but
counts.
That's true. Oh,
Right,
here we
Dash.
go.
Like, this is the most played one in Canadian Highlanders.
Thank you, James. So Death Greeter's Champion is 2 and a red for a 2/1 with dash for 3 and a red. Again, dash is a cast thing. And then back up and then double strike. And so obviously the creature that you back up doesn't gain dash.
Does it gain haste? See, this is what I mean.
Right.
No.
No, it doesn't.
But this is like something that could pop up.
Yeah, fair enough.
And this is a great example because if dash were like, I don't know, prowl or whatever, right? Like an alt cost.
Yeah.
Then it would be a little more straightforward because much like mountain cycling, you're like, oh, this is just another like payment I can make to get this effect, to alternately cast this card or use an activated ability.
Right.
So it doesn't make sense. Like, yeah, it's not going to gain mountain cycling. Or like even dash, it's like, yeah, well, dash is just how you cast it, right? It's not, the card doesn't say dash on Magic Online. Or like this one, it won't say flash, but there are cards that care about flash creatures.
Right.
And like, or could down the line care about
Your
flash creatures.
get +1/+1.
Right.
Whatever,
It's the only downside I'd throw
We're
to
looking
this
at
card.
Cyba Cryptomancer, which
right.
which
like
has
I
flash.
would.
I think we're
this-
landing on an A.
I'd put this in A, but at the end of it, if we are perfect, which we are,
maybe we'll-
I could see us putting this at.
I'm
S.
fine with backup being
Yeah.
S too, because I just think we haven't even exhausted all the things that I like about it. I want to mention that in game, when you're deciding if it's not immediately obvious, which plenty of times it isn't, especially in limited, whether to do a backup on another creature or not, you have to commit the +1/+1 counter, not just the abilities, and so sometimes that'll matter for combat math. And that puzzle, for whatever reason, like often is kind of beautiful. Like it's a fun experience.
Also, the counter acts as a reminder.
Yes,
It's
that's great too.
It's a
Like
reminder.
Exhaust. Exhaust
yes,
usually does that too.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that this has been backed up, as well as they just use +1/+1 counters all the time, and so you may have a deck that's based around +1/+1 counters, and you're like, oh, backup actually just is also a counters card.
Yeah.
Which that kind of cross pollination is great.
Talking about clarity of the rules reminded me, I know that we're past it, but another thing that I didn't like about cases was the wording of the reminder text for when you solve it, that it's weirdly confusing.
Right.
About the like end step trigger.
Yeah.
And like how that I can't remember exactly without seeing it in front of me, but I just remember reading it and going, So wait, when does this happen?
Right. It's a little
Yeah.
bit confusing to read to solve and solved too on the
Yeah.
same card and like trying to keep those separate.
Yeah. I've solved the case. No, you haven't.
No,
Because you have to go to
it's
end
not
step.
your end step yet.
And you're like, okay, but to solve it, I need this. And it's like, yeah. I mean, it will be solved. You just got to wait.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I understand that, but like,
I don't want my Magic cards to
don't
have
know.
5 to 10 business days of waiting period.
yeah.
All right, well, let's solve the case of how low we're going to rank this next one. It's devoid.
My favorite set.
Yeah. So devoid just means this card has no color.
Yeah, it's not a mechanic, dog.
So we're looking, well,
Come on, man.
so
It's on the list.
When is Null Baloth going to get ranked? Because it's S tier.
we're looking at Essence Depleter at cast for 2 and a black. It has the color identity of Commander for black, but it has no color. It is a colorless creature.
I got to say, I love these Eldrazi's from Oath of the Gatewatch.
I like them a lot, too.
I'm a
I love the
fan.
card frame. I like the flavor of them.
Yeah, I enjoy the Devoid cards. The Devoid mechanic, I often just forget.
Yeah.
It's like it's not, like Wheeler Set's not a mechanic. It's like, it does come up from time to time, but pretty rarely. Right? I can't remember the last time it mattered that something had Devoid.
Are you excited? Like, how excited are you if I'm like, there's a new backup card?
Yeah.
How excited are you if I'm like, there's a new ninja in this set?
Oh.
How excited are you if I'm like, there's a new devoid card?
I'm hoping you'll keep talking.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, and?
yeah.
Yeah.
We can put Devoid at D.
It does not excite me in any particular way.
Yeah.
I acknowledge that it exists.
Yeah.
It looks to solve certain creative and deck building issues.
Right.
And some gameplay features as well.
Right.
I just don't care.
Yeah.
And that's the worst thing that you could like. It's not even eliciting a negative response.
Yeah.
It's just okay.
Right. If we really hate the mechanic, maybe it deserves a C or a B
Yeah.
because it made us feel something.
Yeah.
Like literature.
Well, how about this one? Forecast. Not foretell. Forecast.
You put up the best card, James, to get Wheeler to want to.
This is
up
from
the ability.
Dissension. We're looking at Pride of the Clouds. It's white blue for a 1/1 flying elemental cat, and it gets +1/+1 for each other creature in play with flying. And then it has Forecast for 2 white blue. Reveal Pride of the Clouds from your hand, and you make a 1/1 white and blue bird and put it into play. You can only do this during your upkeep and only once each turn. Again, I'll repeat that last part with Forecast. You can only do it during your upkeep and only once each turn.
So the good thing about Forecast is that because it's a blue and white mechanic, a color combination, especially when represented through the Azorius Guild, is seen as a control mechanic and primarily associated with countering spells, wrathing the board, being reactive, a method of gameplay that is not always beloved and can create some not so great play patterns.
So you're forcing them to tap out on their turn.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
Everything else is bad. This is one of the, if not the worst mechanic. Well, it's not the worst mechanic of all time, in my opinion, but it is like
It's pretty bad.
2 or 3. Like
It's very bad.
It is so bad.
The thing is, with Forecast, they could have printed like really good cards with it, and I'm glad they didn't. Because like, imagine if you just had like blue and 2, draw 2 cards, Forecast 1 blue, draw a card. You'd be like, come on.
At least
right?
at least buyback makes you commit.
Sure.
Like at least buyback, and buyback's like sometimes you will just cast that Elvish Fury for +2/+2. What the hell are we doing here? Just like you're telling people not to play Magic?
Right.
It's just
Bravely chose not to print good cards with Forecast.
No, I agree. Like,
Yeah.
like I'm glad they didn't, because like the good cards on Forecast would have been totally bananas. Fortunately, it's only on like really bad cards.
It's on the cards aren't bad. The cards aren't fun. If you make them good, it would not be fun. like
Pride of the Clouds is actually a fine card. Just don't Forecast it. Like, put it in your blue-white aggro Flyers deck, and it's fine.
Yeah,
but
ignore
like
that
the
it is
Forecast
Forecast.
mechanic is like you should. Just
They
put
literally
Flyers on.
fixed that card. There's Skycat Sovereign
that's
from
right.
Ikoria
right.
that is just Pride of the Clouds, and instead of the Forecast, they make it an activated ability because that's fun.
Right,
Because
right.
you get to play Magic, you have your game piece, and you get to use it.
Right.
Instead of just upkeep doing whatever crap you want. And to get ahead of the comments, don't you dare mention Greg Hatch playing Mono Blue, being like, "Oh, Greg Hatch beat one with Mono Blue in Sky Hussar forecasting." He was against a mud opponent in like 2017. Come on, you're not casting Metalworker in 2017. Get off of it.
So,
So,
Disingenuous.
so you want to go D?
So D then?
I
Yeah,
think Forecast
100%
deserves a
D.
D.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Aftermath is next. This is from Amonkhet, and this is the sort of cool split card frame where half of it's sideways because you can only cast. They're a split card, but you can only cast the second half from the graveyard. So, and they all had naming conventions that had an implied 2. So we're looking at cut to ribbons. 1 in a red deals 4 damage to a creature at sorcery speed. That's cut. And then it goes to your graveyard. Ribbons is X black black. Each opponent loses X life, but you can only cast ribbons from the graveyard. And then you exile the whole card.
Okay.
Different flashback with like more flavor, more restrictions. I don't know. People understand how flashback was. I like it.
I like Aftermath.
Yeah.
And I think it has played pretty well.
Yeah.
Like a ton of Aftermath cards saw play.
Yep.
Continue to see play in like Cube or Commander. Some number of them see play in Cube. A lot of them see play in Commander.
Yeah. They've
were
been
good.
pushed out of the top kind of eternal competitive formats now.
They were good
but-
in Type 2
Yeah.
or Standard. And like, if you showed up with a cube and you're like, I have a cube of all the cards that I like, and I open a pack and there's like Cut to Ribbons, Commit to Memory, Dusk Dawn,
Lead to Chance or
Lead
whatever.
to yeah, exactly. Cards like that, I'm like,
Destined to Lead.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, Destined to Lead.
Right.
These cards all saw some amount of play. There's another black-green one that was really
Yes.
cool. The
Driven to Despair.
yeah, that one's pretty
Right.
cool.
What's the ramp? There's a red-green ramp one that's like a removal spell on a ramp. I kind of like that
Road
card
to
too.
Ruin.
Road to Ruin.
What's
I like that
the
card.
green-white one that buffs a thing?
Oh, yeah.
Appeal to Authority.
Appeal to Authority.
Right.
Yeah, these cards are bangers.
Yeah, they're fun cards.
It's so
Oh,
funny.
I'm sorry. You're thinking of Spring to Mind, probably.
Oh,
no.
No,
That's-
Road
no.
to Ruin is both are good,
Yeah.
but no,
Yeah.
I was thinking of Road to Ruin.
Yeah, Heaven to Earth.
Yep. One of my favorites is actually Farm to Market.
Farm to
because
Market.
I just think that's.
Yeah.
I think it's just really funny that there's a magic
Yeah.
card named Farm,
Yeah,
Yeah.
adorable.
or a spell.
Okay, well, is it A? I don't know. It could be B. It's like it's not. We're running.
We don't have
space
room
on
for
E.
it. We
I
can
don't
put it
know
in
if it's
B.
S, but let's put it in B. Let's give it the B slot. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I do appreciate that they tried to get around like memory issues with it, but it also looks kind of goofy. But also, I'm used to it. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
No, yeah, it's not perfect.
Yeah.
Like Aftermath is a little bit weird looking and, you know, it kind of If it's like the first few cards you're showing to someone who's new to the game is like, why did they do this? Like
Yeah.
it's hard to see the
Yeah.
card. Yeah.
We got 3 mechanics left this episode, and I feel like we're going to be using some swaps. At the end.
okay.
So next
We have
is
to move back up to S.
Prowess.
Oh,
no.
Prowess is an
Prowess
S.
is an S.
Prowess is
Yeah,
so
Prowess is
good.
so good,
Prowess
dog.
is a vanilla ability that's relatively new,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Like Death Touch had
Khans of
forebears. Prowess just had Kiln Fiend.
Yeah.
And We Dragonauts. Like We Dragonauts came out. That was like the first Prowess creature, basically.
Yeah.
And then Kiln Fiend, they're like, hold on. What if we really went ham but didn't give
Right.
you flying? And there were just those 2 creatures for a while, and then eventually it was like, oh, people like this. Also, this is good design space.
Prowess is the ultimate. One of the ultimate. I've said this a couple of times. It's cooler to get people to play different cards and different types of cards, right? One of like Delirium's cool because you're like, I'm going to put enchantments in my deck that wouldn't normally play enchantments or artifacts or
Try to grab double type cards. if I
Yeah,
can.
exactly. And Prowess is it builds off of the Kiln Fiends and the Wee Dragonauts of like, I'm blue red, I'm gonna cast instants and sorceries. And says, nah dog, just non-creature spells. So you get to include artifacts, you get to play enchantments, you get to play planeswalkers. And you're a spell-based deck that's playing creatures. Right? Like you're not just playing lightning bolts and counterspells and whatever. Or cantrips. You are like, you have to play creatures to get the prowess going. It incentivizes you to push damage, incentivizes you to play interactive spells, typically. Although sometimes You're just like, every ponder, every brainstorm.
It also, it pushes you to play any of those cards where you cast a spell and that makes you cast another spell, either like from your graveyard or hand or itself or whatever. You know, anytime you can like get multiple castings of spells happening in your turn, the prowess creatures like that, and so all these directions you're going. Plus, just like the regular gameplay of like, my creature's bigger when I can cast spells, and like this is a triggered ability that will happen anytime I can cast instants. So like, watch out in combat.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, it's just it's just a good vibe when you're playing Magic Prowess.
I love in Avatar. There's Iguana Parrot, which is like 3 mana 2/2 flying prowess vigilance.
Also Porcupine.
The Castanon creature.
That one gets +1/+1.
Yeah, Porcupine's the permanent prowess, which we've seen a few times too.
Yeah.
You know,
but just like give me a 3 mana 2-power evasive creature,
vigilance
that,
prowess.
Like, Niblis of Dusk or whatever it's called.
Okay.
I never had to say it, but prowess is just if you cast a non-creature spell, this creature gets +1/+1.
Yeah. Prowess is easy. Yes.
Yeah, it's a evergreen. I think now at this point.
I mean, there's a reason that they keep bringing back haste, flash, and prowess, and actually ninjutsu has come back like a bit.
Also, again, pushes blue decks to play some creatures.
Yeah.
And pushes blue decks to dip into other colors, which sounds like no dip, Ben. Like, decks are going to have more than one color, but like, no, that is like good. It is good to make the blue decks play colors other than blue, and also for the colors to really embody that second color. They're not just there to support the blue cards, right? In fact, it makes blue a supporting color often.
All right. We've got 2 mechanics left.
Yeah.
We only have 2 spots in C,
Yeah.
and I also should get out of the building in about 5 minutes.
Okay.
All right.
So hit us, James.
All right. So
Graham,
here's the
sorry.
thing. It's flashback.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn.
See, this is where I was like, I think we're going to have trouble with prowess and flashback yet to go.
You're fair, yeah. Okay. So if we had the whole board empty, would we put flashback at A or S?
I'd put it at A.
I think A is actually right. Flashback is actually not... It's not like inherently really satisfying. It's just really good and easy to understand.
Yeah, comp players like it.
Yeah, flashback just means there's a spell, you play it, it goes to your graveyard. Usually these are not creatures. These are spells, like instants and sorceries. And then you can cast them again from the graveyard for their flashback cost and then exile it. And the flashback cost is often more expensive, not necessarily. And sometimes you get a kind of bonus for casting it for its flashback cost, but not always. We're looking at Elephant Ambush. I love this card just because the elephant's doing a really good job of hiding behind that tree. It's 2 green. You make a 3/3 elephant token, and then for 6 green, you make another elephant.
One knock against it is it's a little repetitive. You're just doing the same thing. When flashback says like if this was cast from your graveyard or whatever templating you need for that, then it's kind of cool. But like,
or when it's aftermath,
I don't know, it's
kind of cool.
Yeah, or if it's really boring, like who doesn't love Think Twice?
Sure.
But like if it gets a little bit stronger, then you're kind of like.
I will say all of these variants feel less fun than Unearth. That wasn't from today's episode, but we ranked Unearth really high, right?
Yeah, I'm fine putting Encore with Flash, like already swapping Encore and Flashback.
That might be right. Okay,
Well,
let's wait. Let's wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, before we get to our... There just wasn't much to discuss about flashback, I suppose. Before we get to our swaps, the last mechanic for today is Convoke.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
This was a stacked episode. We had a lot-
This is not fair. I
Yeah.
hate this. I know what you're doing, James. I can.
Yeah,
He's got this smirk. I can't see him. I can tell he's got this smirk. He's hit us with. We've effectively been wrapped into doing an 1.5 hour long YouTube short. Like this.
I was so tempted at the start to give you a heads up that this was a pretty stacked episode, and I'm glad I didn't.
Okay. So Convoke's a huge banger mechanic.
Convoke's great.
Convoke is and I love actually can we see a more recent one with Convoke, because I love the new
March of
reminder
the
text.
Multitudes is a great one.
Because so you can tap creatures to pay for some of the cost of casting the spell. So the way that the reminder text is worded now is your creatures can help cast this spell. And I love that reminder text. Each creature you tap while casting the spell pays for 1 generic mana or 1 mana of that creature's color. So you don't even have to tap any lands to cast a spell with Convoke. You can just tap a whole bunch of creatures as long as you also cover the matching colors. So yeah, we're looking at Ancient Imperiosaur at 7 mana for a 6/6 with Trample and Ward 2. And when it enters with 2 +1/+1 counters on it for each creature that convoked it. This card's stupid, but yeah, it has Convoke, so you can rush it out cheaper by tapping your creatures.
I think Venerated Loxodon might be my favorite of the Convoke kind of cards.
That's
For
the one
newer
that's just,
Convoke.
it's like a 4/4 for 5,
Yeah.
but it's just each creature that you use to convoke gets a +1/+1 counter.
Right, because you're sacrificing damage on board
Yeah.
at that point in time. You're getting a second grape. You just got to wait a little bit.
Yeah.
And I love getting the second grape.
Second marshmallow.
Love the second marshmallow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
it's just your creatures help to pay for this, and then this pays out the creatures. Also, that thematically feels great.
Yeah.
And
If you come to work for me, so I can show up and do my
Yeah.
speech, then you
Yes.
get a payment. You get a
exactly.
+1/+1 counter.
Not to mention, if you're playing into Convoke, you can just play creatures, and then Convoke cards are good, right? Just like any number of creatures. But cards like this say, like, maybe you want to commit to playing some creatures you wouldn't normally play, because even though they're like not super exciting, they get more exciting when you Convoke with them, right? Like, and we've seen that with both that card in the mono white aggressive deck in that standard. It's just playing like, this is a 1-mana 0/3. Hell yeah, I'm
Right.
playing this. Because like it becomes a 3/3 when you have a bunch of idiots.
Oh, the
and that deck-
Snubhorn Sentry?
Snubhorn
Yeah,
Sentry,
yeah.
yeah. And like that feels cool. You're pushed to play cards you wouldn't normally play, so you're not just looking at rate and text, and that's great. Shit.
Yeah.
So we're at the end of the episode now, and Convoke is in C, and Flashback is in C. So what are we swapping around here? Previously, we've been a little loose with like the definition of how many
We get
swaps.
one
we
I mean,
get.
I will say this is part 4. Every episode you've done one swap.
We get one swap.
If you want more, you can, but you're just admitting more defeat.
I have a proposition for you, Nelson.
what are you thinking?
I want to swap Entwine with Convoke.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm wondering if Fabricate is too high, especially for this list, but I don't know if we can drop it
You want to
to
put
C.
Fabricate at C?
No, I'd be willing to put Fabricate at B, but I'm just thinking that, and it's like the B is already fine.
Because like Flashback, people like it, but they like it because it's value. It's not super exciting. It's not. It's repetitive.
Are we still okay with Exploit having an A when Convoke is potentially getting a swap too?
Yeah.
All right. I'm fine with
What
that.
else?
then.
We could do one swap. We got to
Yeah.
get Convoke at a C.
Sure. Are you okay with leaving Flashback at C?
Yeah.
It is
yeah,
one
I'm
below
into.
Aftermath.
Do you like Flashback? Or do you like Innistrad?
Right?
I mean, it is.
Yeah.
It is funny that Flashback is below Aftermath here.
No, I think that's great.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
Because Aftermath is like it's like a ran.
refinement?
Yeah.
With Flashback walked, so Aftermath can run.
Aftermath, you get something different for 1 and 2, and there are some decks that just look to only get the Aftermath, which is kind of cool. They finding ways of putting
It's
the
just more
Aftermath card,
interesting.
or the decks that go, maybe I should play something else to take advantage of the Aftermath, even though I mostly just want the top half.
Honestly, I'm a little nervous about our entire A bracket relative to the rest of it. Backup is great. I lock backup hub at A. The other three, I'm like, my knees are a little weak seeing like Convoke and Flashback and Cascade. But it's fine. Let's switch Entwine and Convoke. Entwine and Flashback both suffer from like.
You're not actually.
Have you
making
played
a-
Magic the Gathering? You probably understand how this
You're,
works.
you're not actually making a decision.
Yeah.
I value different experiences, interactive experiences, and like making decisions. Whereas it's like, oh, do you want a Lava Dart again? And you're like, well, yeah. I put Lava Dart in my deck, didn't I? It's like, okay, great.
Maybe you should
done
Lava
and
Dart.
done.
Yeah,
Like, and that's one of the coolest flashback cards.
that's true.
It's just
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of episode 4 of ranking all the mechanics. We've got 4 more of these and then the final?
Correct.
Great. All right. Well, until then, I want to remind everybody the show is brought to you by Card Kingdom. Please check out cardkingdom.com/LRR for all of your Magic card needs. Check out also Dragon Shield. Use the code LRRMTG5 to get yourself a 5% discount. And, of course, everything that we do here at Loading Ready Run is brought to you by you, either by supporting our Patreon or by becoming a member on this YouTube channel. Member shoutouts shortly. Until next time, I have been Graham, joined by Nelson.
Hey.
And Wheeler.
I have a mattress that's on my front porch right now.
James has been on tech. Heather gets these online. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye, everybody.